Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to have a go at modelling this GameCube controller inside of Fusion. We'll then bring it all into Blender to have a go at texture and everything. So there are a couple of add-ons that I used. One is paid and the others are free. So the free one for the materials is Blender Kit. And then I use Images Decal to add the light logos and stickers and stuff to it. And then the only paid one is something called One Click Aid, which lets you add like steps, imperfections. Apart from that, everything else is free and you don't need those to continue with the project anyway. But I hope you enjoy following along. If you've got any questions, leave a comment down below or email me at design.simon@outlook.com. Okay, so first thing we'll do is bring in our reference image. So what I'm going to do is click on this button here for canvas. I'll go to Insert and Canvas. And then I've got a couple of different reference images on my desktop. So I'm going to bring in this one to begin with. Click on this front plane here. Drag it up, make it a bit bigger. And then flip around the wrong way around. Let's just flip that around like that. Okay, now what I want to do is right click and calibrate, because on my other screen I do have the exact measurements it should be. So if we say, make sure I don't mess or clicking this in the wrong place, let's click there. There it should be 140 centimeters. So we've got that. I'm then going to edit the canvas and bring this bit as close to the middle as I can get it. And then I'm going to do the same again. Bring this in, click OK, calibrate, as you can see. $140. I'm going to edit this one, flip it around, and use this as the back view, just making sure that I've got the sizes correct. All lined up nicely. And then we do the same for the side. Side. In. Okay. Right click, calibrate. And this here, I'll do the same one again. Let's click there. And then do 140. And we're going to take this and bring it up into position, something like that for now. So we've got that. I'm going to double click here and let's call this front view. This one, call this back view. Side view. Now I do have one more which has the top, because annoyingly this one doesn't have the top view on it. So let's come around this view. And then I have got somewhere, where have I put it? Downloads. Right there. In, drag it up a little bit. And then let's right click. Sorry, right click, calibrate, do there, do 140, edit canvas, bring that and there, let's call that top view. So we've got our reference images there. We won't need all of them at the same time, so we can turn off the ones as and when we need them. We're going to give this a save, so autosave kicks in. So, first bit we're going to focus on is getting these bits where the actual like Joy-Cons and the buttons are, and then we'll work on what's probably the more difficult bit, which is like the curved bits and the handles and that sort of thing. So for this one, relatively simple. Let's create a sketch. And then what we're going to do is to see the circle, we'll go to create in circle. And then let's do 2-point circle. I'm going to click, drag down. Like that. And then we do the same here. Let's click, drag until I'm happy. like that. I'm going to hit T for trim, or it's this button here, or modify and trim. Trim off these two bits here, and I want to click on fillet. Now don't press F for fillet. If I press F for fillet now, it's gone out of sketch mode and gone into solid mode, which we don't want, because fillet in sketch and fillet in body are two different things. So I'm going to grab both of these. Let's drag until we're happy. Like that. So we've got this shape. Now I can finish sketch, or I can press E and it will automatically finish the sketch for me. Let's come to the side. We can turn our side view on. Drag this out a little bit. And now I can take this side view and bring that into position a bit more now. Like that, something like that. So we've got that. What I am going to do before we do anything else is let's come to this side. Hit alpha line and just draw a line somewhere down the middle there. And go to split body, select this body, and splitting tool, select this line. And that's just so I can split this somewhat in half. And the whole reason why I'm doing that is so that I can make it hollow. So I'm going to turn one off, go to shell, grab this and drag it in a little bit. Let's do something like two. It doesn't really matter because we're going to like fill it in again later, but let's make sure it's the same. And then I'm going to combine these back together again. So combine, select one, and select the other, like that. And you can tell that it's hollow now, because if I go and inspect, go to section analysis, click on this side here and drag it in, you can see it's hollow there. So we've got that. Let's turn our canvas back on. I'm going to go to create, mirror, grab that body, and because we did this as close to the middle as we could do, plane there. We've got those in place. So now what we're going to do is let's focus on this part first. So if you look, if I turn this off, this has got like a surface like raised up a little bit, and this has got a surface like sort of cut in a little bit. So it took me a while figuring out the best way of doing that. So let's create a sketch. I'm going to go C, circle, and because this is a circle, we can snap to the middle of that. So if I hover over, you see when that circle appears there, means it's directly in the middle of that circle. I'm going to drag that out. Do the same again. I'm going to come over until I get directly in the middle there. It doesn't matter if we're not exactly in line with where our reference image is, because we're basing it on where our body is. I'm going to finish sketch, where I can hit E, not automatically finish sketch. I'm going to drag through like that. And this is why we hollowed it out, so that we can make sure that if I turn off my canvas, because it gets a bit hard to see, we've got this. So to make those bits stick out and in, what we're going to do is go to create forms, this purple box here. I'm then going to come to cylinder, and it'll say where do you want to create it. So I'm going to click on this surface here, and I'm going to come to the middle of that circle again and just drag out and snap to that circle there. OK. I'm going to do the same again. Click on the surface, around the middle of that circle, drag out, OK, like that. So you can see there, turn off the canvas, we've got these cylinders here. Now what I want to do is go to modify and fill hole. I'm going to double click this edge here. Now what I want to do is change this to collapse, and then I want to make sure you see that it's sort of rounded off. I want to keep creases. I just want to weld vertices like that. Do the same here, like that. But we don't want the rest of the cylinder. So I'm going to click on this edge, hold shift, double click there, and press delete, and I can just double click and delete. So the whole point is so I can get this disc. That's the whole point of doing that. Like that. So making sure I get it the right way around. This one needs to be sticking upwards. So let's go to right click, edit form, selection filter. I'm going to click on here, which is the vertices. Let's select those vertices here, and using the arrows, I can drag that up and drag it up until it goes to about right. See how thick it needs to be. Something like that. And then we do the opposite on this one. So right click, edit form. Let's grab this edge. Let's drag that down a little bit. Like that. Now if I finish form, you can see what's going on. We're not finished yet, but you get the idea of that's now sticking out, that's now sticking in. I can always go back and edit that form again by right click and edit form. So what we do want to do is thicken that. So modify and thicken. I'm going to grab this drag that in a little bit, just to make it natural 3D shape. Right click, repeat thicken again. I'm going to drag that in again. Now I'm going to finish far. So what we're now going to do, do you see, if I hadn't have thickened it, there'd have been surfaces, but you can see here they're now individual bodies. So we're going to go to combine, I'm going to grab this body, grab those like that. Now the only thing we want to make sure is that we've not got any gaps. I think we're okay on this one. Just check we've not got any weird. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a gap. Let's look on here as well. Okay, a little bit. So what we're going to do, zoom back out again, right click, edit form. I'm going to modify, I'm going to go to scale, as soon as I find it, scale. Where are we? Am I being blind? Oh, hang on, let's modify. Let's try this scale here. Before we do combine, let's do that. Modify. Scale, just drag it. Okay, let's right click, edit form. Sorry, that's okay. So I'm going to grab body there, and here I'm going to scale it out. That's what I meant to do. Sorry, I had a momentary lapse in brain function. So then we're going to again, right click, edit form, body selected. Grab this and scale it up a little bit like that. Then if I hit finish, like that. Just checking we've got no gaps anywhere. I think we're okay now. Okay, bring this up a little bit. Let's go to right click, edit form, grab that body. Just bring that up just a little bit. Let's try that. Let me delete that face. Okay, let's come down again a little bit. Maybe if we get it, let's see what happens. There we go. So that's now gotten rid of any gaps that we had. I'm just going to check here. I think we're okay as well. So that bit is done. Let's then construct. Okay, not offset plane automatically, or you construct an offset plane. I'm going to click on this surface here, drag that out a little bit. And then what we'll do is let's create sketch. I'm going to turn this off. So we want to have this shape here. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-sided polygon. So let's bring that back. Let's go to polygon. Let's come to the middle. Drag out. I'm going to change this to 8. I'm going to bring this into position. Like that. Hit P to extrude. Like that. And like that. Do the same here. Let's turn that plane back on. Create a sketch. Now this one here we got what the D-pad is, so let's hit R for rectangle. Then we could center rectangle, come to the middle. This image is slightly off, so it doesn't matter if we don't match it exactly. And let's go to create and circular pattern. Double click to grab the whole thing. Center, we can grab this, change that to 4. Let's make that a bit bigger though. Let's delete that. Let's try again. Oh, rectangle, drag up, something like that. Create circular pattern. Hit E to extrude, grab all of those, drag that through as well. Okay, so we've now got those. Let's turn that canvas off. We just want to round off these edges by hitting that to fillet. I'm going to do most of the like overall fillets around most of the edges at the end, just while I'm getting the shape roughed out. That one. Okay, drag that in a bit. Enter. There we've got that bit is done. Let's move over to the other one. Turn that canvas back on. So we've got the same sort of thing here. So this is rigged up. This one is just flat. So let's create a sketch here. See the circle again. Come to the middle. Out. E to extrude. Drag in. And let's jump to forms again. Cylinder. Click on this surface and the center of that circle and drag out and click on OK. So let's just turn off this canvas, it's a bit hard to see. Modify the hole, click that. Now I should remember the settings from last time, so key creases and warp vertices. Click on OK. I'm going to click on this edge, hold shift, double click and delete, and then just double click and delete like that. Now this one is sticking out, so let's right click edit form, change that to vertices, and this is going to come up. How much does it need to come up? Not quite as much as the other one. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more, just a smidge. There we go. Let's go to modify and thicken down the bottom. Okay. Let's make this a little bit wider again. So remember, we can do that. Right click, edit form, body, and just drag that out a little bit. Combine those together. Just go double check through, check like a nice clean transition, which is what we want. Let's bring back our canvas, create sketch, and again we're going to grab polygon. It's going to be an 8-sided one again, so it comes to the middle. It's up to 8. Need to extrude in. And we can start cutting the details of these buttons in. So we need that offset plane that we created before, which is here. Create a sketch. Do C for circle. Come right to the middle and draw out here. We do the same here. Let's do a two-sided circle. It's a bit easier sometimes to get it exactly right. Like that. Let's hit E to extrude. Drag that in a bit. Hopefully now it's making sense why we hollowed everything out a little bit. And then we've got one more sketch to do on this, which is up here. So let's do circle. I don't want to connect that to that part. Let's drag this roughly where we want it. Make it a little bit bigger. Take that, Control C, Control V, drag that over. Then let's go to create arc. We've got arc. We'll do the same down the bottom here. And let's then trim away the extra bits we don't want. Like we're going to fill it just to make this a smoother transition again. Check up these looking all right. So let's double click this whole sketch, Control C to Control V to copy and paste it, drag it over, bring that into position like that. We're going to hit E to extrude, grab both of those, drag in. So we've got the basic shape of that. Let's turn off the camera so we can see what's going on. Obviously we've still got like the buttons and stuff, but we're going to do the controller first. Sorry, I've got a really noisy chair. Do the shape of the controller first, then we'll start doing all the buttons and everything that go along with it. So let's give this a quick save. So this is where it's going to be a little bit of trial and error of some things will work, some things won't, in terms of like using the forms tool. So if you look at it, the front bit actually is flat, but the rest of it is all very curved. And a lot of that stuff is quite difficult to do using just like extrudes, revolves, that sort of thing. So we're going to use a lot of forms. We're going to do a normal sketch on the front here first of all. So let's come to the front and then let's hit alpha line. I'm going to just draw a line somewhere along here, making sure it's straight. Like that. That's the key thing there. Just make sure it's straight. Let's draw a line from the middle of that up there. Create arc, arc, and click on that line. That line and come across here. And what we want is to make sure we've got a nice clean transition. So I'm going to drag until we get to that point there, like that. I'm then going to do another line, so alpha line, let's come across there, middle again. And all these are just construction lines just to make sure we're getting everything exactly the right place. So come across like that, and then I'm going to just trim, hit T to trim, and trim off all these extra little bits. Like that. Now at the minute, that is a close profile of it. If yours doesn't highlight, it means there's a gap somewhere. So I'm going to hit E to extrude, grab both of those, I'm going to click there, drag that, but I don't want it to be flush on both sides. So I'm going to do two-sided. I'm going to take this one and drag that in a little bit. So I've got one of these controls right next to me, so I'm trying to make sure I get it right. So I'm going to click on OK. Turn off canvas, so it's a bit hard to see. Like that. Now we might choose press pull, maybe we're going to bring that away. Something like that. So next, what we're going to do, if I give this a save, is where a lot of it now is going to jump into form tool. You see we've got a nice clean transition, everything that we need. So let's come over to the back. I'm going to go to forms again. I'm going to click on this surface after selecting cylinder, obviously. And much like I did before, so I'm going to come there in the middle, drag out like that, enter, same thing, drag out like that, and same again, modify, fill hole, weld vertices and keep creases as before. And then let's delete these ones. And again, it's all this is so that we can get the perfect shape that we need. Then what we're going to do is let's grab a plane, grab on this surface here, center, and find that middle. Just drag out like that. Okay. So now I'm going to grab these four faces, hit delete, and I'm going to go to modify. I'm going to go to weld vertices. So it's vertex to vertex. So if you click one and then click another one, it's going to move to there. So I'm going to click there, click there. Like that. So I want to put symmetry on. I'm going to put these two subjects here. So now if I was to edit form and grab this, it'll update on both sides, which is what we want. So now we're going to try and match up to our body that we've got there. So let's go to edit form. We are going to go to vertex. Let's drag up. Match as close as we can do. And this is where, like with the forms, it's a bit trial and error. So just keep moving stuff around. Annoyingly, you don't get a timeline like we've got down there for us now. So it's just a case of Control Z and do everything. Down there's looking fine. I do like to click OK, because then if I undo it, it won't undo all of that, and I can edit form again. So let's do the same. It's down. Up a little bit. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. I'm just going to finish form so you can see what's going on. So at the minute you can't really see anything that we've done there. Okay. So I'm going to give this a save. I'm actually going to get rid of that scale so we can use that at the end. Let's edit this form. I'm going to come to the side. So this is where I'm going to drag this out. So first thing we're going to do is go to modify, thicken, grab this surface, drag it out a little bit. Like that. Now I do need to bring that canvas up. Let's calibrate, edit canvas, sorry. Drag that. There you go, like that. So now what I'm going to do is edit form. I'm going to change this to faces. I'm going to grab those faces. So I'm going to drag this and start to bring it like that. Now at the minute there's nothing we can do about this bit, so I'm going to go OK. I'm going to go to modify, insert edge. I'm going to double click on this edge here. That's going to bring an edge into the middle. So now what I can do is edit form, go to edge. Let's grab this edge here. I'm going to drag it up. And again, as I said, it's a bit of trial and error. I get everything to match up exactly as we want it to. Change that to faces. Something like that. So if I finish form, canvas, you see what's going on. So we've got that sort of shape there. Now I'm not going to commit to it just yet, but this is where what we want to do is fillet this edge. That's way too much. I'll just make. Yeah, so we just want to make sure that we can still get it to like round off the edges like that sort of thing. That's what we're after. So we've got that part. what we're then going to do is start to do. So, I'm going to keep this fillet here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the time before that fillet. Control C, Control V, copy paste it. So I've got a backup just in case. So I've got that shape. Now let's go doing the actual handle. So again, we use the form tool for that. So I'm going to come to form, and this time I'm just going to use a box. Here, click, just drag roughly the sort of shape that we need, like that. Now I'm going to take this body, right click, move copy, and move that into position a little bit. Edit form, go back to vertex mode. We don't want symmetry or anything on for this because this is not a symmetrical shape now. We'll mirror over to the side, obviously the controller itself is symmetrical, but the actual handle isn't. This bit always gets in the way. I just drag that over. I always find that just gets in the way more than helps. Over, let's come to the side. Let's take this, right click, move copy. And then same thing, let's edit form, vertex mode. Let's just finish form, see how we're looking. Let's turn across canvas. So actually that's not bad, although I think we probably want this to be a little bit closer here. That part as well. So that's edit form. More like it. I'm just going to check I've got a nice smooth transition along there, which we pretty much do. Let's up these and just drag in just a little bit. There you go, something like that. I think is probably about right. Constantly going back to the controller, checking I'm happy. I think probably we want to take this surface and drag it down a little bit more. Like that. A bit bigger, I think. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I'll give it a save. We'll try going forward with this and see how it looks. I've got a little bit of this sticking out, which we don't want. Let's grab this vertex. There you go, so that's correct. This in. Okay. Right. What we can then do in this, we can go to symmetry, we can go duplicate, grab that, and then grab this plane here, fix file. So we've now got that. So before we start combining stuff together, let's just check. I don't think you got, okay, we've got a little bit of overlap in there. So what we're going to do, again, I'm going to save this because we made some good progress, don't want to lose anything. Split body, select this body here, select the tool, I'm going to select this shape along here. So let's just turn off bits. So those bits there we don't want. So let's take right click, remove. Get me through overlapping down here. Let's just check. Let's split body. No, wrong one. That body, splitting tool. Grab that surface there. Remove. Let's have a quick look at how we're looking. Honestly, I think we probably don't need, yeah, because that's to be for there, isn't it? So let's not do that. Okay. Let's then start to combine some bits together. So let's combine these together. We've still got this backup just in case. Okay, I think I combined the wrong. Let's undo that. Okay, now let's combine those. Like that. So now what I'm going to do is just check I've not got any weird overlapping shapes. So if you're lucky, if you click on them, if you delete, sometimes it will let you, like that, get rid of any weird transitions, which is quite nice. Sometimes it won't let you, but it's always worth trying. Side. Okay, let's just check on this side as well. Yeah, over here. Okay, so I think in terms of the rough shape of that, we are good. What's this run? Service bar. Did it do anything? Doesn't have to do anything. Okay. Now this is where Fusion can sometimes be a bit annoying because we need to start doing some fillets of shapes. So after fillet, let's start small. Okay, that worked way better than I thought it would because it doesn't always cooperate like that. Okay, yeah, so your best bet is to start small, way bigger until you get something that works. One that might actually work quite well. Come to the side. Okay, so I think we didn't want to do that step. So let's go back in time. Hopefully I don't completely. There we go. For some reason I accidentally went back and undid my delete there, which I didn't want. I'll give this a save. Let's hit active billet. Okay, now we got rid of that. Let's go a bit bigger, better. Okay. So this is just a bit trial and error again. Let's not do tangent now. Let's do one here. Let's see if we can just do this. There's one. Okay, why is it suddenly not going to do that? We get rid of that bit. Okay, so it doesn't want us to do a whole tangent line. Fine. Do that. Now we know. Okay, so we've got that bit. Let's just have a look. We've got some weird overlapping here a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be able to delete that though. Because if I select, yeah, that's going to grab all of that, which I don't want. I think that means that if I have to try and delete this, it's not going to. Oh no, it will. Stand corrected. So yeah, that's the only annoying bit, but you won't really see that anyway. Okay, so let's come on to the top view. We're going to have where our triggers come out from. So let's create an offset plane. Drag this up. Create a sketch. Let's just turn up body so we get the idea. Okay. Let's just do. Yeah. Let's go across. That sort of thing. Let's then start to shape it a bit more. You do trim. Okay. E to extrude and bring that down. Just me something like that, but for now, let's change that to new body. Because actually, if you look back a bit, we've got this sort of curvy bit to it as well. So let's make this up. Let's move copy and bring it down a little bit. And then let's press pull that across a little bit as well. faces. So let's mess everything up. Let's quick sketch. Okay, we're going to do a line. Like that. Let's then fill it to make this a little bit more wavy. Again, remember, don't press F to fill it when you're doing sketches, because that is a different thing. Let's fit this body with that line. We can get rid of this bit. Okay, so that then gives us this. Let's fill it. It's not like there we go. Right, let's see how that looks. So if we bring this back, create mirror, select the body, select this plane. Let's go to combine, change that to cut and grab both of those. That looks pretty good by the looks of it. Let me just check the back. Yeah, height-wise that's about right actually. Let's off and then pray for a cooperative fillet. I like when fillets cooperate as they should. It makes your life so much easier. No, you're supposed to cooperate. Let's try that again. You want to cooperate. Meter and centimeter. Point 9 is, let's just change this one. 0.9 as well. Oh, it's because that's like a millimeter. Yeah. Always check the units. There you go. Right, so we've got that. We do want to have our trigger. So we're trying to get all like the shape of the things done before we start to make the actual buttons. Getting close. Give that a save. Right, let's, because on the top there is also, I think it's safe to say we can get rid of this now. So let's right click and remove. No, just got our controller. Let's go to the top. Got this plane here. So we'll find the middle somewhere along the line. We've got a circle here. Don't know why it says rectangle there. I've got one for me. It's definitely a circle. Let's drag that. E to extrude. In. Modify chamfer. And let's fill it a little bit as well to round it off. That's what the cable comes out of. Is that a bit big now? Maybe. Let's play the sketch a bit. Probably a bit more like it. There you go. Okay, and then on the top as well. Again, I don't know why on this view there are two double triggers. That's definitely not the way it's called. So we've got these, but we've only got one of these. I don't know why there's one on both. That's not actually correct. Let's bring back this plane. Create a sketch on this plane. Let's do R for a rectangle. Drag it across. And we're going to go to fill it. Let's grab these and drag a little bit. Do the same here, but make that a little bit more. Not quite that much. Like that. Okay, let's turn off these sketches. Let's turn off everything except that sketch, sorry. And save this. Let's take this, Control-C, Control-V to copy paste it. I'm going to hide one. Hit E to extrude, drag that through. Right, change that to intersect. Okay. Let's then create a sketch. P to project. Let's grab that, and then let's offset. Sorry, that's P project. I don't just want that offset. Drag that in a little bit. And then let's split body. Grab that line. Don't need you anymore. Remove. We can take this surface. Let's pull a little bit. You're also going to want to first pull up a little bit. Let's bring this back. So you've got that there. What we're going to do, combine, cut, but keep tool, because then we've got that as well, actually, without needing to do anything too much. Well, let's delete that face. Well, perfect. Now I've got rid of that. Okay, let's again give that a save. Let's start to do the trigger. Well, the other ones that are. Okay, I think the best way of doing this. Sketch. Extrude that out. Change that to new body. Move copy. sketch, create an arc. Body, that. Fill this over a little bit. So this is sort of like freehanding. I want this to look a little bit. Definitely doing that. So we want to have that little divot. So let's do an offset plane. We don't want to be too far away. Bring it just above. Something like that. Let's create a sketch. Let's do a line. Sketch. I'm actually going to take that and press pull that a little bit out. Let's create another sketch on that same. It's just gone. We're going to project to surface. Face, that one, curve, this. And I've got that on there. Finish sketch. Let's turn all this off so we can see what's going on. Create pipe. A bit wider. Something like that. Change that to new body. Press pull. Drag that all the way across. So on this side, drag that all the way across. So I'm going to take that, move copy, up. Let's see how this looks. Combine, cut U. I want to keep it. Okay. Let's fill it. Okay, so then we've got our triggers. Do stick out like that. So it's up front to be just about right. Let's mirror that across, create a mirror. And let's go to combine, cut those two keep tools, turn those off. Okay, don't want to do that. Like it. Okay, I think that's pretty much all like the modeling of the actual controller done. I'm going to give this a save. Now, before I start pivoting and doing the rest of the buttons, I'm going to try and do like split, like the seam for where it might be manufactured. So let's create a sketch, create a form. Let's go plane. Let's add a few more. Like that. Right. I'll move copy and move that into position. Okay, this is when I'm going to use reference images on the actual control I've got in front of me a fair bit, just to try and get this right. Edit form. First of all, let's turn symmetry on. Symmetry. Again, like before with forms, this is very much trial and error of trying to grab everything. I'll turn this all off so you can see what's going on. I'm going to use this as a cutting tool. Okay, that's probably fine. Then press full. Edit form. Scale that left we can do. Scale release lab. Use that as well. I think I need some more edges. Insert edge. Along there. Form. Is that like it? Okay, probably not bad. Let's bring this down a little bit now. Edit. Wait, maybe we'll insert an edge. It's going to get in there. this down. Okay, it's just along here is the bit that's not really cooperating. It should be. Here now. Let's go edit. I think we might have it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let's create thicken. I'm going to make this. That's just something. Now I'm going to go to split body. Got that body, split tool, select that. So now if I was to turn that off, see I've now got that seam where it's been manufactured. So I'm going to give this a quick save. I don't know why that kept crashing when I was doing pipe, so instead of doing pipe, what I actually ended up doing was just doing a very small fillet of like 0.2 on both of those edges, so we still end up with that little seam going across. So what I'm going to start to do now is, because we bring back everything that we've got, this one we don't need, one, two, this one we don't, let's remove that, and that one we don't need. Okay, I'm going to start filling it in, like running off the edges, and then we've just got a few of the buttons to actually finish doing as well. So let's start. Rounding off everything so it looks a bit more like soft. Not too much of that about right. That's probably about right. Okay. Let's try and make sure we don't forget any of them. Around these corners just a little bit. Okay, so I think that is all the this. Hopefully this doesn't mess this up. Let's do this first. All good, and all those buttons are all good. So now I guess it's a case of just doing buttons, and then we've got Nintendo logo we want to put in the back there. Let's do the screw hole now, while I still remember. But let's do the buttons, because I keep saying I'll do the buttons, and then I've not done it yet. So let's bring back our canvas. Let's do a couple of easy ones first. Perhaps what we should be able to do is let's go back to our sketches. So I should be able to grab this. Let's drag that. Let's not do that yet. Let's grab this, drag up a little bit. Modify, chamfer. Not quite. Modify, draft. That, and then what we need to have is that triangle. Great, a mirror. And then let's fill it. Those. Need to extrude. Let's bring back that sketch that we just had a second ago. Which one was it? Create pattern. So pattern. Okay, we're going to need a circle. Do anything else. Let's right click, sketch. And because we've edited the sketch in the history, it's going to take a second to like everything we've done so far. Hopefully it's not going to make any errors or anything. No, we're good. Create pattern. Pattern. Grab that. There we go. And then what we can do, this. Let's then turn off the sketch. Let us delete. Okay, we do need to make sure we grab that circle there. Let's press pull that down so it's flush. And then turn the canvas, look a bit messy. Have to fill it. I think I've grabbed the wrong thing. That's 10. That obviously can't affect any of it. What do we need? In. Fill it both of those. Okay, so that is our D-pad done. Let's bring it back. Copy into position. Let's make that a bit bigger. Let's bring it up. Let's then press pull. Grab that surface. A bit thicker. Now we can take it, move copy, back down, like that. Now we've got our D-pad. Next, these buttons, we've already got these sketches as well, so we can find those somewhere. Okay, so we can grab these, E to extrude, F to pull it. We do need to put some writing on those in a little bit as well. Let's not do that just yet. Let's bring it down. We'll just go a bit further. Oh, no. We put it down. Okay, and then next sketch. There we go. E to extrude. Down a little bit. Fill it and drag. In, and let's grab both of those. Yeah, I think. Okay. Then we don't want, actually, let's just grab a sphere. Let's click on the surface here. Change that to new body. I'm going to take that, right click, new copy, bring down. First of all, let's scale that down a little bit. Non-uniform, latter, like that. Then let's bring that down. Like that. And then let's sketch. So I'm looking at the original, make sure I've got right. Oh. There you go, something like that. Looks a bit more like it. Turn that sketch off. We'll do the same thing from here. Create. Before I do anything else, I'm going to give this another save just to make sure everything is safe. Create. Let's go to sphere again. Anybody modify scale? Flatten that a little bit. Let's move that up. And the same sort of thing, but we've got a thinner quick sketch. This isn't good at all. That. Now I'm going to create a sketch on here. And this is going to be a bit bigger. I think. Extrude that upwards. Round that down. Just make sure I combine those. And put that in. Okay, and then let's do a sketch, and we're going to have 1, 2, 3 circle on the inside of that. Let's do one. Two. A bit more. 3. Let's then extrude those up. Fillet all these edges. Something like that. Yes, now we've got our joystick. Just fillet this as well. Okay. So we are missing a button at the front. Our start button there. Let's go to sketch, outline down the middle, come up. Extrude and drag that in a little bit. Canvas, have to fillet. Need to extrude and bring up. Change that to body. Have to fillet. Okay. So I think button-wise and things like the actual modelling we're done. You need to put lettering onto each of the buttons. Give this a quick save. That's the wrong button, that's not save. And then there's some screw hole and things you want to put in as well, and I'm pretty much done. Before we do that, I've got an SVG of the Nintendo logo, which needs to go back here. So let's go to Print Sketch on here. Then go to Insert SVG. Should be in my downloads, hopefully. Nintendo. There we go. Way too big. Way down. A bit smaller still. So I found this just by literally just search on Google, like Nintendo logo SVG. That's all I look for. Let's grab each one of these. Drag that in a little bit. Enter. Not too small, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably too small to be able to fill it. Do this one. I'll just leave that in. Okay, we've got that. Let's do screw holes. So there are a couple we need to do. Let's all on the back. Turn off. Turn that on. So let's an offset plane. Back. Let's then create sketch. Yeah. So let's do one here. Let's do one here. Just don't interact with that. Delete that though. Let's do the same size for all of them. Control C, Control V, copy and paste, bring that over. And then get another one up here. Let's just find the middle of our entire thing. And then let's mirror all those across, create mirror. Okay, finish sketch. So, we can't do them all at the same time because they're not all the same distance. Let's hit even extrude. Drag this through. That sketch turns off, so let's turn it back on again. Hit E to extrude, grab those. Same. These. We can then turn off that sketch. Let's just fill it. Too much. Okay. Then all we're going to do is create one screw. Screw up. I don't know why that is not working. Let's do this one here. No, let's give a save because where this one's going to crash. Need to extrude. Through. New body. Take this one screw. Isolate. Create sketch on this plane. L. aligned about the middle. Same on this side. Trim off the end. Modify, extend, offset. 5 minus 0.5, 5 minus 0.5. Then we can grab all of these. Drag down, modify chamfer. Drag down a little bit. And we can just grab these edges, and then we've got our square. Okay, so now we've got one screw. Let's isolate everything. Take that, Control C, Control V. Move this into position. In. Move that over. Okay, so we've got those. Let's mirror them across. Create mirror. I want to grab 1, 2, 3. Mirror plane. Okay, so we've got our 3. So I think the only thing I have to do now is put that lettering on these buttons. So that's hopefully it's got it. This. So let's sketch. These are just tracing. Symmetrical. Create mirror. Modify, extend, trim. Hit E, so we can go A, down. Okay, so we've got that. Let's do B, C. Great. Line off. Goodbye, extend. So what? Because this is probably quite boring, I'm not going to record me doing this. I'm just going to do it and then I will restart the video again. Okay, so all I did off screen was just finish off doing the text there. There's nothing exciting other than just tracing around and extruding that out. So modeling wise, we are done. So what I'm going to have a go at doing is jumping over to Blender to have a go at texturing all. If you're going to join us, please do. If not, if you're going to stop there and not bother going into the Blender side of things, hope you enjoyed following along. If you've got questions or requests, leave a comment down below or email me design with simon@outlook.com. Okay, so we're inside Blender. I'm just going to press A to select everything, X, click on delete, and go on File, Import, and FBX. And then we've got our model here. And zoom in, so we know this is the right dimensions. So we're going to press R to rotate X 90, we snap it into position. So we've got our controller. So we will be using Blender Kit to apply our materials. I have also got this website, which is imagecolorpicker.com, that lets you select, like, upload an image and then you can pick the hex code from any image, which is really useful. So we're using that to make sure I can get the right colors. So all we're going to do is let's search for something like plastic base. I'm going to grab and drop that on there. And then we're going to turn on material preview. And we want to make sure, select it. And we're going to drag up here to grab a new window. Let's change this to shader editor. So with this particular one, we've got color wheel there. So let's grab main color purple, grab the hex code that we need. So from that, I can just select hex and paste that in. So we've got that. Now I need to make sure I unwrap this. I'm going to select it, hit tab, 3 to go to face mode, H select or U. Let's go cube projection. Now the grain is a little bit big at the minute, so we will make that smaller in a second, but let's just grab the back of the controller first, then select the front, Control L, and we can link materials. And same thing, let's unwrap. Okay, so to make this a bit smaller, I'm going to change this view to the UV editor. Let's select the UVs, and if I hit S to scale, I can drag it, make it bigger. You can see I've made it 2.2, just so it's around, but it's easy to remember. Okay, that looks more like it, and then we can do the same on here. Tab to go to edit mode, A to select it, S to scale, do 2.2, 2.2. There you go. So we know that the scale of both of those is the same. So what we're then going to do is let's grab this one here. We're going to select that same material, Control L, select materials, but this time we don't want that to be that color. So if I come to the material tab, I can select this one here to make a new material. We can then change this back to shader editor again, and that color needs to be, if I get my color picker, needs to be that's what color. And again, let's just unwrap. Okay, and then now it's pretty much rinse and repeat. So let's do the same. Let's grab this B button, make material, make its own new material. Let's grab the hex code. Can easily come across like that. We've got a few that are going to be the same color grey, so let's just grab the grey that we want. Okay, and then we're going to want to grab this one, make materials, make that its own new one again, grab the hex code, Okay, and then we also want to make sure that's going to be grey as well. On this, that, those, and then grab the last one, drop out to link materials, like that. And then let's just unwrap those. Because we've used a cat file from Fusion, we can't really unwrap in the traditional sense inside Blender, so we can use cube projection because for this case it will work without any major issues. Okay, so we then want to have this bluey purpley color. Let's grab that. Materials good. Oh, no, wrong way around. No, wait, that was right around. Link materials. New material. And then unwrap that as well. And then what we're going to want is let's grab our rubber. Let's grab that. Okay, and what I don't want is like a procedural one because that's going to slow down my computer a little bit. So we want what's called PBR. So I'm going to look for one. No, there is one somewhere. See what these times it's procedural. Okay, let's grab this one. We'll edit that slightly. So we want to make sure we're going to have this grey color. Now there is no color wheel for this one, so what we can do is come in, Shift A, add color ramp. Let's grab that in there, and then we can still grab this extrude like that. Now I want that to be a little bit grainy, so let's see if we can grab a noise texture. Let's just see if this will work. Can I grab that, put that in? And then we make this quite fine. Let's do like quite a bit more. Let's do like let's do the same for that one. Let's link those materials, but this one we don't want to be grey, we want it to be yellow. Let's grab that hex code. Let's make that new material. Okay, let's see. Maybe we need to do a mix. Let's try a go to mix. Let's put those in like that. Ready to jump? No, right, let's gonna whack that in there. There you go. That way around works better. Okay, and then we'll unwrap that as well. Okay. So I think in the basic texture sense we're finished. What I'm then going to do is let's grab it all, rotate like that. Let's go Shift A, mesh, and like on plane. GZ, let's bring this down. Let's grab like a wood texture. Grab something like this. Probably want to make that scale a bit smaller. Let's change this to UV editor. And scale. Just a bit too big. But yeah, something like that. Now we do and close that a little bit now. Go to top view. Shift A. Images decal. And then on my desktop I've got GameCube logo to add on. Let's do RX90. Away 90. There we go. Every direction except the right direction there. Get up. Scale it to the right sort of size. So if you find that's not clipping through, let's come to modifiers and change that to a bit bigger. Just check it's stuck to the surface, which it is, so good. Okay, now give this a save so nothing crashes. Okay. Let's add light. So we're going to Shift A, light, to area light, G, Z, top something like that. Let's do Y, something like that. Maybe we do it like that. Okay. Let's then change our render engine to cycles. Denoise, I put the samples really low for viewport just so we can see what's going on. Light, I'm going to change to use nodes. Let's turn on our view there. In fact, before we do that, let's add a camera so we know what setup is going to look like. Shift A and camera. And let's go for something. Not quite. There you go, something like that looks good. Right, let's then turn on that view there. So I need to grab the light. Let's change this to shader editor. And then we can go Shift A, image texture. Plug that in. Open. And let's go. I've got all my gobos. We'll change that spread to somewhat small. Something like that. We want to rotate that around a little bit. So if I grab that and go Shift W and add a texture setup. Right, we're going to play around with which one of these rotations we want. Okay, that is the right one. First time. Something like that. Okay, let's add one more light. Shift A, light. Bring that up. That light's way too powerful, so let's make that quite a bit smaller. Maybe smaller than that. But yeah, something like that. I'm going to give this a save. So last thing to do is to like sort of like imperfections and that sort of thing. So I'm going to close my extra window here. So to help with that, I have something called one-click age, which is like the most useful add-on for adding like surface imperfection, anything like that. So it is a paid-for one. And this is just a case of like adding little bits. I'm going to click them out of render view. That doesn't slow it down too much. So if I then click on here, you can start to play around. Now some of these will only turn up when you're in render view. So if I do like edgeware, for example, you don't really see what's going on, but once I go into render view, we'll see in a second. There you go. So it's starting to appear edgeware around the edges along here. So we can play around. With things like the opacity, I can make it a little bit less intense. And this is why I'm going to make sure I come out of render view, just because it can slow down a little bit. It's good to do for like your final render, but let's play around with something like, let's do fingerprints. You see those. Now we want to make those quite a bit bigger. Let's do like that sort of thing. Let's bring the opacity down again. So it's, you don't want subtle, you don't want like really in your face. You see we've sort of got them there a little bit. Let's scratches as well. Okay, so you see that's like massive. So let's go around. Again, let's bring those down. And then let's look at grunge. Bring that down. Okay, let's give this another save. Again, just so we don't lose anything. We're essentially doing the same thing on all of these buttons as well. Now, because some of these share textures, you don't have to do it as much. So let's edgeware. I'm going to bring that down a little bit again. This is where we'll do. Let's do fingerprints. Change the color of that a little bit so you can see what's going on. Scale down again. So now we can't see the edgeware at the minute. That's because I've not got that view on, but for now we'll just keep it off so it's not slowing everything down too much. That's low. Okay, there we go. Let's bring that down. So these have all got the same already as well now. So let's same again. Edgeware. Bring that down just a little bit. All the same. So let's do fingerprints. And this is all sort of trial and error with settings, work. Range. Sometimes it can take a second to load. Go, bring it down. And then the last one, and then we'll have a look at how it's all looking. Okay, so let's into camera view. Again, let's hit this quick save. Let's then turn on render view, see how we're looking. Okay, let's play around with our lights just a little bit. Do we want to bring that down just a little bit? I'll just bring that back up to 12. Okay, I think we'll call that finished. So, I'm going to give this a quick save. And then let's come to render. I should have that on GPU to begin with. We're doing much faster. Okay, so samples, we don't need any with near that much. Let's like 200 samples. And we'll stop there. So hopefully you've enjoyed following along. If you've got any questions, leave a comment down below or email me at design with Simon at outlook.com.